Scar King. Scar King is believed to be the villain of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. But at the time, the movie is not out, and there is no evidence that that is the case. So we'll be skipping directly to the build, and not talk about the character. Scar King appears to be an albino ape covered in blood. This is hinted at with the unnatural shade of red used for his fur, and the whitish gray spots on his body, at least in the toys. To imitate that look here, I used light red pieces, with light bluish gray all around his body. I chose to use light red instead of dark red as I felt it gave that more unnatural look. It made him feel as if he was covered in blood and not just red. Scar King also appears to be much taller than Kong, so to imitate that, I decided to make any place that was 4 studs long, when in Kong it was 3. Now let's quickly cut to the articulation. If you've seen the GXK video, then you would already know how the articulation goes. The head is one ball joint, and the mouth is a hinge. The neck is also connected as a hinge in order to imitate more realistic poses. Going straight to the waist, there is a Technic pin within the waist to let it rotate back and forth, left to right. Each shoulders will be given a ball joint, and then the elbows will be given a hinge, and the hands will be given a ball joint as well. Going down to the legs, there is another large ball joint, not so sure what it's called, a hinge for the knees, and a ball joint for the foot. And then Scar King's whiplash, if that's what you want to call it, is full of articulation, but they are all hinges. I don't have the full information on the date it was made, but if I'm not mistaken, I would say January 8th, 2024. And the height of this build, a very important subject. This thing stands at 19 bricks tall, which that height is perfect because it equals almost the exact same height as Kong and Godzilla, which if Scar King is taller than them both, that would make this figure just slightly taller than them both. The Shimo figure, coming out soon, will also be around 30 bricks tall, so standing right above all of them. If you haven't seen it already, I'm going to be building every single Godzilla MonsterVerse kaiju someday within this size, except very certain characters that go to such a small scale that LEGO would be incredibly difficult to imitate without having to sacrifice many important details and features, as I already had to. For accessories, Scar King has his whiplash / whip, and that's Scar King in LEGO. But hold up, that's not all of it. There's one quick thing we gotta mention. It was in the thumbnail, and no, it's not his throne. 2 other Kongs. These 2 other Kongs that you can see on screen currently are both not Kongs, but they're of his species. They appear to be Scar King's slaves, and he appeared to have dozens of them, so I built 2. And I made sure when building these 2 to use pieces that are very common and ones that you could have a lot of in order to build as many as possible. If I wanted to, I could probably build about 3 more before having half sacrifice pieces. I won't go in depth on these builds, but they are basically the Kong build, but with brown instead of black. I will build one of them on the how to build video, but they are kind of just side characters. Anyways, that's Godzilla x Kong in LEGO.